want to speak to some of the craziness that we're seeing in our world, riots and the looting and all of the crazy stuff that's going on. Let me talk a little bit about anger. Every emotion ends up being tied to a particular value. Let's talk bitterness. Bitterness is tied to relationship pain. Jealousy is tied to a kind of a control, a wanting to have power, I guess, relationship control, that sort of thing. Anger, interestingly, is very much tied to power. Let me use a different word, to influence. So we're created, different people at different degrees. We're created to where we want to be influencers. So when I feel powerless, one of the ways that I respond to that is through anger. Now, there's a problem. The more anger I express, at some point it gives a diminishing return. First time I'm angry, people jump. The second time I'm angry, people probably still jump. But by the third, fourth, and fifth, I have to get more angry, more violent, more grotesque, more sick. And so anger, every time I exercise it, especially in a more and more grotesque way, it has less and less impact. Thus, we end up with riots. It's like, well, this display of anger didn't work, so I'm going to take it to another level, and another level, and another level. And here's what people need to hear and understand. In the end, the most powerful person in the room is the most trusted person in the room. You see, if it's influence that you really want, the person who is going to influence you is the one you respect. The person who's going to influence you is the one whom you trust. And so if anger becomes my way of getting influence, every time I'm doing that, I'm losing respect and I'm losing trust. Now, granted, when you have two sides that are both kind of intractable and neither side is listening, sometimes that's the way people use to get the other side to move, and neither side seems to be doing anything positive. But there is something better. And that something better is God. If you actually believe in a God who intervenes, if you believe in the power of prayer, and you begin to lay your life down for others, relationship has incredible power. When I begin to sacrifice and lay my life down for other people, they begin to realize that I care. And once they realize that I care, now my opinion matters to them. My speaking to them matters to them. Part of the problem in the current climate is we don't have the relationship. We don't have the interaction, so there's no real caring. So then it's a power struggle, or worse yet, in the current culture, we've got a huge problem with demanding us, where I want what I want and I want it now. And so the power is being expressed purely in selfish terms for me to take what I want, when I want, how I want. That one can't have any positive outcomes. But when anger begins to be submitted to God, or it's submitted to the good of the nation or the good of the culture, it can be a jumping off point for action, and positive action is good. I believe we saw that with Martin Luther King and the way he approached things. There were clear actions and there was civil disobedience that got the attention of a nation, and it moved us in positive directions. That's very different. An action-based anger that has healthy outcomes is very different from a looting, pillaging, destructive sort of thing, because what happens then, the other side is just going to respond with an equal force of anger. There's no relationship, there's no movement. You basically create a civil war. That's what we're seeing happen. Somehow, some way, we've actually got to sit down, talk, listen, hear one another, create relationship, develop trust. There's got to be some statesmen. There's got to be some people out there who will take initiative in these kinds of areas and move in these kinds of ways. If we don't have that, you're going to have power struggle on top of power struggle with two sides warring with each other. And guess where we end up? And the answer is not in a good place. So my plea to you is to, first of all, pray. Seek God. Understand that God can intervene, but it's also to cry out to those who are in positions of influence to stand up, to reach out, to build relationship. Let's build respect. Let's build trust wherever we can, because those are the things that are absolutely going to make a difference if things are to turn out well. And if you're one of those people, you're going to have to be bold. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to reach out. If you're one of those people who's been caught up in the anger, step back, take a deep breath, surrender things to God, understand that God is still a God who loves and He intervenes. If we can all begin to think more in these terms, we can see some much better outcomes. I hope you'll pray with me, and if need be, speak up, reach out, listen, and connect. God bless you. If this message has been helpful, pass it on, and we'll be praying together.